All right, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dan Harley with Tech Talk. And on episode number 81, How to Avoid Getting Hacked, recorded on February 28th, 2017. My wife's coming back from her trip to Vietnam early. She's supposed to be there for a few more weeks and can surprise me saying, hey, I'm coming home. So right after this episode, I'm heading down to LAX to go pick her up. So, and believe it or not, this episode has something to do with her. So, directly related to what happened to her a while ago here. So, I also get a lot of inquiries recently from people getting hacked or spoofed accounts. So, it's probably a good idea that I covered this topic now. So, anyway, the last episode was episode number 80. Is Wix 80 good? A review of the Wix website builder. So I reviewed the Wix website builder because a client of mine had the Wix. And those of you out there looking to build a website for yourself, you might be surprised with my reaction to Wix. I actually kind of liked it. Now, there are a few things to consider before using it, and I advise you to check out that episode to find out. So, anyway, before we get into today's topic, let's go to some announcements. As I'm always, as usual, thanks for listening and watching. I very much appreciate it, and that's why I keep on doing this stuff is for you folks out there. Make sure I'm trying to help somebody and move your business along and go in the right direction, and so on and so forth. So, so like I said, I appreciate your input. I appreciate your listening and watching. And please continue doing that. Now, if you're listening on iTunes or in Android podcast directories, please rate my show, submit a review. I really appreciate that, and it helps my show grow. Now, if you're also watching on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, leave some questions, leave some kudos. Greatly appreciate doing that too. Now, if you need to find me somehow, some way, or the YouTube channel, or the podcast shows, either Android or iPhone, you can find all that out on primeconcepts.net. That's primeconcepts.net. There's links to all the podcast shows there. Also, links to lots of great information on the site there, as well as lots of free tutorials of business-related internet topics. And my favorite tutorial I have here is free and almost free ways to advertise your business online. So, either way, please pass the word, share the episode, tell others about the podcast show and YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate that. A little legal disclaimer here. If you products mentioned in this show and other episodes of Tech Talk with Dan Harley could be paid as an affiliate commission, promotional commission, or the liking by the products or service provider. In other words, I just might try to sell you something, so you've been warned. So thanks for listening, especially this episode. So I'm going to actually going to promote a product I really I really support this. It's a good product which will help people with the hacking situation. So anyway, thanks for listening and watching. Now let's get into the fun part of this episode here. How to avoid getting hacked. So let me tell you about my wife got hacked a few years ago. What happened is somebody hacked my wife's Facebook account. And I found out within about 5 minutes. And the hacker was ballsy enough. He started attacking me on Facebook. And I'm going, my wife is not a big Facebook person at all. So I knew something was kind of up right away. So I kind of stalled the guy and until I found out who he was and get some more information on him. So lo and behold, I actually found his cell phone number, and turned out he was this guy was somewhere in Hanoi, not far from my in-laws. And we were in California at the time, so it was kind of strange. It's just occurrence here. So anyway, I called him up, and he started talking to Vietnamese than me. I just told him, hey, you got to talk this off here because you've been chatting with me for 20 minutes in English. So don't tell me you don't understand English. And he got a little bit nervous, and I warned him. This is, I know where you're at. My uncle lives not too far from you, and he happens to be a retired general. And I will give him your cell phone number and let him deal with you. And it would not be good for you. So he was very... now, that situation, I kind of quelled it pretty quick. I was actually pretty lucky, okay? And he very lucky the hackers, he had made a mistake and is able to capitalize on it. So, however, most of you folks out there probably not as don't have the resources as I do to track down the hackers. And so it's better just to not get hacked at all. So, and unfortunately, too many people make themselves very vulnerable to hacking. And unfortunately, what happens is somebody hacking it's nowadays. Now we have our lives online here. It's very easy to get your whole life wiped out very quickly. People hackers drain your bank accounts, steal identity, steal your identity, and total chaos in your life. And the stuff you see in the movies is, although it might be a little bit a little Hollywoodized, but some is not too far off. It's very easy to have your life ruined by a hacker. So this episode, we're going to talk about a few little things of how to prevent yourself from getting hacked. The first thing you really need to do to keep yourself from getting hacked is regularly change your password. Okay, of all the stuff you use. Quite often, people use the same password for everything. And being a kind of a former hacker, that's an easy way for me to own your life. Okay, now if you change your password regularly and also make sure they're encrypted, that is the large part of how you keep people from hacking your entire life here. Now, the challenge here is humans cannot remember very much in regards to passwords and stuff like that, especially have to change it on a regular basis. So it becomes very difficult. Frankly, it's impossible. So that's where you get a password manager, which makes it much, much easier to do. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. We're talking about a little program called RoboForm, and which I kind of sizzle you a little bit here, but we're going to talk more in depth about that, how that make it much, much easier. But think about, first and foremost, you need to change the passwords regularly. Okay. Also, you need to make sure that you have any alerts that you're able to activate on your accounts, so your banking or Facebook, whatever. Make sure all those alerts are activated. Quite often nowadays, because of the issues with hackers and all that, most systems have a means to either email or SMS text you, or a combination of things to when something fishy happens to your account. And but usually these things are not by default, so you need to make sure that these services are available or are activated. You put a SS, you allow them to text message you, so on and so forth, when something goes down. So at least you're on top of things when people try to do something fishy. In fact, that's how because I have all these little flags and alerts all over the place, that's how I knew my wife's system was hacked very, very quickly after it was hacked. So now you should also add extra security layers to critical sites. These critical sites are such as your banking accounts, maybe Facebook, so on and so forth, where access to that could cause and create some big problems. For instance, with your banking site, there you could have your money all wiped out of the account. So it's also in fact, a little something here too. I have Vietnam bank accounts. Ironically, they already have layers laid in that you have to go use to. Whenever I do any type of transactions on those accounts, that automatically sends a text, SMS message encryption security code. So I had to get my phone, keep that, put in and put it on the in their system there before they even transact the account. So stuff like that, you should make sure it is activated and you have that available, especially in the mission critical sites such as your bank account, stuff like that. Also, make sure that it requires security questions. A lot of people think it's kind of in the way, clumsy, difficult to do, but quite frankly, that could make or break somebody accessing your account, a hacker accessing your account. So make sure that's available and be religious about your security questions. And also, you should restrict access to your accounts, access to these accounts to yourself or key people around you. All right, so and that's important too. Now, once you add the security layers, also you also avoid accessing critical sites using like public Wi-Fi. For example, if you're trying in a library or something like that, you're trying to access your banking information while at a public Wi-Fi or a public computer or public Wi-Fi, probably not a good idea, because that's where hackers that's their lair, for lack of better terms. They can sniff the communications and find passwords or even open accounts and access directly into somebody's system there and create some havoc there. So, if at all, it is better to access these critical accounts from, let's say, a home or business access, or actually your own cell phone. Your 3G, 4G LTE plans actually more secure than public Wi-Fi. So consider, if you need to access your banking information, use that instead. All right. Also, you should make sure you log off of everything that, if you're using have to use a public Wi-Fi area, make sure you log completely off before you leave. Reason being, it's too easy for a hacker to sit in public Wi-Fi, and they're actually waiting for, quite often, they'll wait for somebody to walk away from a Facebook account or Twitter account, and they'll roll right in, because they're essentially the same IP address, so Twitter and Facebook don't know any different, and the hacker all of a sudden has access to your accounts and can wreak havoc for there. So make sure that if you're accessing a Facebook or Twitter or a bank account, whatever, in a public area, you're completely logged off before you walk away from that area. So another thing here too, this is seemed to be very obvious, but not. I'm finding out not as obvious. Don't click on unknown links and emails or websites, or don't download unknown files, especially from unknown locations. This is a very quick way of giving what's called a Trojan horse access to your system. Once one of those are in your system, havoc will go loose in there. So if you are not familiar with the link, if in doubt, don't click on it. It's a probably good rule of thumb. If in doubt, don't download it. If you have any questions at all, don't download it. Don't click on it. Leave it be. It's better to err on the side of caution than error in chaos. So, last but not least is make sure you have antivirus and firewall software installed on your computer. Quite often, these newer versions of the software here will detect hacking and strange operating patterns and provide an extra layer of alerts of security in case you do get hacked. So. Before I call it, then I mentioned I'm going to talk about RoboForm, a software password manager. Guys, the first thing we mentioned here is you should change your password very frequently, and I do it all the time. I've had now I have been hacked every once in a while because I have a very, very large footprint online, but unfortunately my hacking is very, very minor sites and nothing critical. And especially no hacking has ever happened in any of my critical systems. Like I say, the core hardening against hackers is using highly encrypted passwords and change them regularly. Okay. Now again, humans can't remember, have a hard time remembering this stuff all the time. That's where these passwords called the password manager comes in. I use a program called RoboForm, which is the most popular and the most widely used password manager on the internet. In fact, I got a special link, a free trial to RoboForm. It's primeconcept.net/link/get-RoboForm. And we'll have that link into the show notes. And it's also on the website too, at primeconcept.net. So you can get a free trial here. But anyway, what RoboForm does is I use it all the time. And that system basically remembers the password for me. I have it installed on all my computers, on my browsers, on my smartphone, my tablet. So it's with me all the time. Whenever I need an encrypted password or password for anything I do, I have RoboForm. Now, a couple of things that now I don't. In fact, I haven't used it so much, depending so much. I don't remember my own banking passwords. Critical system passwords like banking and stuff like that, and our mission critical computers, where I need to make sure that it cannot not unhackable even at my level of hacking. So I don't even know how to the password for those without my RoboForm system. And also some of my clients' systems, which are heavily secured, I make sure RoboForm remembers those passwords, not me. And a lot of it's because, my theory is I don't want somebody to hold me hostage and waterboard me and pull these passwords out of me out of torture. It'll never happen because I don't remember. I don't know them anyway. So, that's how reliant I am on RoboForm. It's for good reason. It's the best system out there. It has first of all, a few things makes it good. It has a very easy to use password generator. It can create passwords using letters, numbers, different cases, symbols. As long as you want, you press a button, it automatically creates the password. It's also multi-platform. As I mentioned before, I have RoboForm on my. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I have it on all my computers. I have it on my smartphone. I have my tablets. I have it everywhere I go, so it's everywhere around me. So I always have access to all my passwords, and I literally got thousands and thousands of passwords too. And it's relatively easy to use too. Now you take an extra couple steps to do a few things, but those extra couple steps are overshadowed by just this peace of mind that you're not going to get hacked. So it's very easy. It's very and RoboForm is continually improving their system, so it's almost transparent for user situations. So like I said, it's a great program. I highly recommend it, and that's the reason why I'm offering a free trial to use it. No obligation. But it's at primeconcepts.net/link/get-RoboForm, and those links are on the show notes as well as on the website. So primeconcepts.net/link/get-RoboForm. All right. Anyway, to summarize all this stuff here, it is frankly very easy to get hacked, but it's actually easier to keep from getting hacked. So if you follow these simple, common sense steps here, things that you should do, you should be okay. So remember the free trial at primeconcepts.net/link/get-RoboForm, and you should be okay. So anyway, I'm about ready to pack this up and head down to LX to get my beloved wife. So until then, that's it for this episode. Thanks for listening and watching. And until next time, good luck and Godspeed to your online success.